Welcome to Kat Sara Yoga. I'm Kat and this is Yoga for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the series which helps you build strength and flexibility to support your Jiu-Jitsu training. This throw, known as Uchi Mata, originated in Judo and requires lots of balance as you step onto one leg and begin to take some of your opponent's weight as you transfer your weight onto the other leg and then rotate your hip outwards, requiring lots of balance and lots of core strength. So we'll look at how we can develop core strength, balance and hip flexibility in the following yoga class. Begin in a comfortable seated position. Allow your awareness to scan over your body and notice how you're feeling. Allow your awareness to come to your breath and observe your breath as it flows in and out. Notice the breath like a circle repeating over and over again. Inhalation followed by exhalation, followed by inhalation. And on your inhalation, shrug your shoulders right up to your ears. Exhale them down your back. And again, inhaling, shoulders shrug up, long lengthen spine. Keep the spine long as you exhale, shoulders down your back. One more time, shrugging shoulders up. And exhaling them all the way down. Inhale, and on your exhalation, drop your chin towards the chest. Inhale, looking up and over one shoulder. Exhale, chin towards your chest. Inhale, looking up and over your other shoulder. Continue with your breath, exhaling, chin towards the chest. Inhaling, looking up and over your shoulder. And this is stretching out your neck. Have a sense of keeping your shoulders drawing back and down, as if you could slide them into a V shape towards the base of the spine, helping to keep nice and broad across the front of your body. Making this the last round, bringing your head back to center. On your inhalation, sweep your arms around and up, exhaling fingertips onto the shoulders. Inhale, sweeping your elbows forward and up, and exhale, sweeping them back and down. Inhaling up, filling your chest with breath, exhaling back and down. Lovely big circles with your elbows in time with the breath. Let's go in the opposite direction. Continue with your breath, circling your elbows. And as your elbows come up, taking that really nice deep chest breath. The combination of lifting the elbows and breathing in at the same time will really stretch out your chest muscles. And this warms up your shoulders as well. Last round, and release your hands down, bringing your fingertips in front of you. Have a really long spine as you inhale. And as you exhale, inquire into tipping forward to the front edges of your sit bones. If your ankles feel a little squashed doing this, then you can just bring one heel in front of you and the other heel in front of that. It's easier to create that position when you're up on a yoga block. And that will allow you to tip forward without squashing your feet. With every inhalation, think of lifting and lengthening up. And every exhalation, maybe tipping forward a little more. So you'll feel a nice stretch in one buttock, maybe both, but probably one more than the other. And with the legs in a cross-legged position, the hips are in a slight outwards rotation, so you might get a little bit of an inner hip stretch as well. Slowly coming back up to sitting and change the cross of your legs. Bring your fingertips down by your side. Long spine, shoulders away from the ears. And inhale, reach one arm up. And exhaling over into a side lean. Inhaling, cartwheeling the other arm up and exhaling over. Continue with your breath. Inhale up, exhale over. As you move, keep thinking of plastering your buttocks down into the earth. That will help to get the stretch all the way down, even into the outer hip. Last round, and then bring palms to touch. Inhale, reaching up, long spine. And exhale, twisting to the side. Let your hands come down. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, twist the other way. Hands drift down wherever they naturally settle. Inhale up and exhale down. Continue with your breath. As you turn, you can look all the way over your shoulder with your face, even with your eyes, to stretch the eyes. And every time you come back to center, feel your spine is wonderfully long. Making this the last round, bringing palms to touch and exhaling your hands down in front of your heart. So we're going to tip forward again, maybe adjust your feet so ankles don't feel squashed. Inhaling, lengthening up through the spine, and exhale, hinging forward at the hips. Keep your spine really nice and long, so we don't want to round the shoulders. Think more of chest coming towards the earth than shoulders rounding forward. Keeping buttocks plastered into the mat, and even thinking of rolling your thighs outwards a little bit more. Notice how these subtle activations will increase the stretch sensations all around the hips. And you should feel this a little bit more intensely in one buttock than the other. All your awareness is on the sensation of the breath as it flows in and out, and the sensation of the stretch. Last few rounds of breath here. Slowly coming up to sitting, and come forward onto hands and knees with hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Spreading out all your fingers. Take a nice inhalation, then exhale as you round your spine, relax your neck, sink your bottom down onto your heels. Turn your palms to face upwards. Notice how this rolls the outside edges of the shoulders towards the mat. And you get a stretch in between the shoulders. Then turn your palms to face down again and ground them into the earth. Inhale up to hands and knees. Exhale, send your bottom up and back into the air in downward dog. We'll flow with the breath, inhaling hands and knees and exhaling into child pose. Inhaling again, hands and knees, curl toes under. Exhale, send your bottom up and back. It's okay to keep your knees bent in downward dog. Aim to be a straight line from hands to tailbone. Flow with your breath, inhale hands and knees and exhale child pose. So we'll keep flowing like this for a few more rounds of breath. This will help to warm up your whole body and also gives you a lovely stretch for your back, your spine and the backs of the legs. As you exhale up into downward dog, try to be aware of that natural pause at the end of the exhalation, and you find yourself for a moment in the pose of downward dog, just appreciating and experiencing how it feels. Look up underneath yourself, up towards your navel, and that helps to relax the back of the neck and also to encourage engagement of the tummy muscles. If you want to, stay up in downward dog and paddle the feet, dropping alternate heels down. Lovely calf stretches. And we're going to finish up the last few rounds of breath here. You might move through the positions and then come back to downward dog, and we'll all meet there. Either stay in downward dog, or if you want a bit more challenge, stretch your right leg up towards the sky, keeping your hips squared forward to start with. Then bringing your right foot towards the left buttock and twisting your hips towards the right. You'll feel a lovely stretch across the front of the hips. Think of both thighs rotating outwards in an external spiral of rotation. Imagining the external spiral at the hips helps to open the hips and also keep the left knee nice and aligned and not twisting. On your next exhalation, step your right foot forward in between your hands. Draw your tummy and lift the pelvic floor, reach your arms up. So here we are in a high lunge. And in Uchi Mata, we step one foot between our opponent's feet and then we lunge back on the other leg, as far as we can really. So finding balance here. On your exhalation, ground your hands down either side of your front foot into downward dog. Paddle out the feet for a few moments. Then inhaling, coming onto hands and knees. Exhaling down into child pose. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, bottom in the air, into downward dog, pushing hands into the mat. Breathing here. Stretch your left leg up, one-legged dog. Hips stay squared forward towards the earth to start with. Inner hip bones shining down towards the earth. Stretch that left leg as high as you can into the air. Bend the left knee, bring the left foot towards the right buttock and open out your hips to the left, feeling that stretch across the front of the hips. This is going to help with your external rotation of the hip, which you need to feel really strong in for the Uchi Mata takedown. Keep breathing here, pushing your hands into the earth. Nice deep inhalation. Stretch your left leg up and exhale as you step your left foot in between the hands, rising up, finding your balance into your high lunge. Keep pushing out through your back heel. Keep drawing your tummy in and lifting your pelvic floor. As you press your hips forward and tuck your tailbone down, you'll get a good hip flexor stretch in the front of the right hip. All good for helping increase the openness of the hips, allowing you to rotate them and rotate the top leg out and bring it up and back behind you in Uchi Mata. On your exhalation, ground your hands down and step your back foot forward, keeping your knees bent enough that your belly can be resting on your thighs. Let your upper body round forward, maybe even taking your hands behind your calves for a moment. Bring your hands onto your shins and keeping your knees bent. Inhale as you lift collarbone up and forward, making your back flat like a table. Then exhale, release back down. Suck tummy in, lift pelvic floor, sweep your arms around and up as you come all the way up to standing. Inhale at the top, bring palms to touch and exhale your hands down in front of your heart. Bring your hands onto your hips. Have a rock forwards and backwards on your feet and ground the feet down. Tip your pelvis forwards and backwards like a bowl of water spilling out the front and the back. Then making each tilt smaller each time until the pelvis is level like a bowl of water, not spilling. Big step back with the right foot into high lunge again. That's good practice for that step back that we need in Uchi Mata. On your exhalation, ground your hands, step back into downward facing dog. Have a few breaths here. And when you're ready, slowly inhale onto hands and knees. Exhale into child pose, bottom to the heels. Keep your arms out, stretched in front, inhaling up to hands and knees, and exhale into downward facing dog. Nice inhalation as you raise your right leg up, float it as high as you can. Exhale, step your right foot forward in between your hands. Float your left leg up, flexing the foot, keeping your hips squared towards the earth. Come up onto your fingertips, keep sucking tummy and lifting pelvic floor. And if you can, bring your arms out wide like an aeroplane, stretching fingertip to fingertip. Gently place your right fingertips down to the earth. Place your left hand on your hip. Really draw your tummy in, steady the core as you work to roll your left hip back, stacking the hips. And if you can manage it, straighten your left arm up. You can always rest your right hand on a block. It will help, giving you a little bit more height. Keep that left foot nice and flexed. So you can see this is the movement, the position we need for our Uchi Mata throw. Lots of balance, lots of core strength and rolling one hip outwards. And this is half moon pose in yoga. Step your left foot back. Imagine intersecting a line coming out the back of the right heel. You might have your feet at a right angle to each other, but more than likely having your left toes turning a little bit more towards the front of your yoga mat so that your right knee doesn't twist. Reach your arms forward over your front leg as you shift your front hip back, suck it in towards you and let your back hip pop up and back. Your underside of your body is one side of a triangle. This is triangle pose. Drop the right arm down and reach the left arm up. Make sure you're not collapsing through the underside of your rib cage. So really think of that side ribs as being part of the triangle. When you're ready, lengthen up to standing and step forward to the front of the mat. Coming back into Tadasana, parallel feet. Bring palms to touch and inhale, sweep arms around and up. Exhale, diving forward, knees bend. Hands to the shins, inhale, lift collarbone up and forward, and exhale, round, release back down. Inhale, coming all the way up to standing, and exhale, hands in front of your heart. Bring your hands onto your hips. Take a big step back on your left foot, keeping the hips squared forward. The back heel stays lifted, pushing out through the back heel. High lunge. Drawing tummy and lifting pelvic floor. Feeling the feet grounding down as the legs lengthen up. Feeling your fingertips reach up as your shoulders draw down your back. On your exhalation, ground your hands. Either side of your front foot, step back into downward facing dog. Breathe here, maybe paddling out the feet a little bit. And then on your inhalation, raising your left leg up. On your exhalation, step your left foot forward in between the hands, raising your right leg up, flexing the foot. Come up onto your fingertips, keep sucking the tummy in and lifting the pelvic floor, maybe using your block to give you that little bit more height, that little bit more steadiness. When you're ready, see if you can float your arms out wide like an aeroplane. Warrior 3 pose. Keep pressing out through your back heel, sucking your tummy in, lifting your pelvic floor. Feel lengthened from crown of head to back heel. It is a challenging balance. Placing your left hand down to the floor or onto your yoga block. Bring your right hand to your hip and rotate your hips to the right, stacking the hips, keeping right foot flexed and keep pressing out through your right heel. Roll your right shoulder back, reaching your right arm up, shoulder sliding down the back. Imagine a straight line coming out the back of your left heel and step back on your right foot, intersecting the line. So left heel aligned with inner arch of right foot. Bring your hands onto your hips, straightening the front leg, making sure the knees not twisting. Pointing your back toes a little bit more towards the front of the mat can help keep the front knee aligned and not twisting. Bring your arms out to shoulder height and shifting your front hip back as the back hip pops up as you reach forward as far as you can. Let your arm cartwheel down to the leg wherever it naturally settles, reaching your top arm up. Triangle pose. Keep thinking of that side of your torso as a side of the triangle. So not collapsing through the lower ribs and maybe bringing your top arm over your head, palm facing towards the floor. Suck tummy and lift pelvic floor, coming back up to standing and turn both feet towards the long edge of your mat. Hinging forward at the hips. It's fine to bend the knees so you can keep your lower back flat and you'll be able to reach your ankles, bringing fingers to the inside of the ankles, thumbs to the outside. Feel like your upper body is spilling out of the hips and really do bend your knees. If you feel like your tailbone's tucking under, bending the knees will help. Inhale up onto your fingertips, lengthening your spine. And exhale as you sink your weight over into your right leg. Let your right heel lift if it needs to. And turn your left toes up towards the sky. So you'll get a really nice inner thigh stretch in your left leg. Reaching your left arm up and using your right arm just to nudge the right knee out a little bit, helping to open out through the right hip as well. Half squat pose. Breathing here. Notice the stretch sensations you feel. Ground your hands down, push your bottom back up in the air, back into fan pose, and sinking your weight over into your left leg. Remember that you can lift the left heel and turn the right toes up towards the sky. Nudging your left knee out with your left arm, reaching your right arm up, a gentle twist through the spine. Maybe tucking your chin and looking up towards the top hand. Wonderful, lovely opening for the hips, opening for the chest. And grounding your hands, pressing your bottom back up into fan pose. Bring your hands onto your hips, suck the tummy in, lift the pelvic floor as you come all the way up to standing. Heel toe your feet in towards each other, keeping your feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart, and hinging forward at the hips again. Bringing your fingers to the inside of the ankles, thumbs to the outside. Make sure that your knees are bent enough so the outside edges of your belly will be resting on your thighs. Relax your neck. Lower your bottom down into squat pose. Let your elbows nudge your knees apart, bring palms to touch in front of your heart. And lower your bottom down to the earth, hugging your knees in. Rocking to the back edges of your sit bones in cosmic egg. Breathing here, noticing how you feel. Coming into a comfortable cross-legged seat, bringing palms to touch. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.